Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls' and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why? Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did.
Someone once said, where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart. What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing in tech.
Good evening and welcome to the Right Side. Here we are in February already. Who says the winter's not flying by? Well, I'm saying the winter's not flying by. It's dragging. But greeting. Okay, let's see. Well, let's start right off with my first smiley face there, Mark Ashley Price from Wayne County. Glad you're here with us, Mark. I think when you don't come, I worry about you. So, all right. Well, today is a chat day. Next week, let me start off by saying that, and I'll say it again at the end. Next week, we have an interesting lineup. We have former county commissioner Steve Williams will be here. I don't know anybody that pays attention to the commissioner meetings, the county commission meetings. Steve comes to every commission meeting, and during at least one, most of the time two, public comments, he stands up and he talks to the commissioners and he informs them about his interactions with Judge Longsworth, who was appointed by Governor Whitmer roughly a year ago. And Judge Longsworth is, I'm hearing from everybody, she's a terror. That's just what I'm hearing. She's just nasty to work with. She's rude. She's kind of appears to have what they call in inside circles black robe disease, which is basically power happy. This is what I'm hearing. So I'm going to look in. We're going to have Steve Williams here next week, and he's going to talk about what he's going through. I mean, I've listened to some of this stuff. And I certainly haven't been there every single meeting at the commission, but he's been doing this now for weeks and weeks. Apparently, she's really abrasive and really has taken some liberties. So you'll get to hear his story next week. In addition to that, we have Christina Light coming on afterwards. Christina's going to kind of talk kind of on that same topic, but she's going to talk about the roles, judicial roles and what should be happening. where judges step out of line and what should be happening, what shouldn't be happening. So it'll be an interesting, and then we'll talk about anything that anybody else wants to talk about too. So that'll be next week. So for tonight, we have Hodgepodge, which is basically there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that I'm just going to tell you about. And of course, I always welcome comments and thoughts from anybody watching. So jumping right in, let's start with the county convention. We have Livingston County has our required county convention, February 26th, I believe, starts at 6 o'clock at Floodgate Church, and that is on, that's in the old Striking Lanes bowling alley, what used to be the Striking Lanes bowling alley on 23, just barely south of M59. So we're gonna have that there. Any elected delegate or elevated delegate at one of our other conventions from last year is invited to come. The call to the convention was sent out, and if you haven't received it by now, if you're a delegate and you haven't received it, you need to reach me. Tyler, if you would put in chair at Livingston County Republican or LivingstonRepublicans.com, reach out to me and we'll get that fixed. But we've sent it out. People are wanting to go. So they're RSVPing right and left. So here's the process. If you're unfamiliar, if you're a new delegate and you're unfamiliar, we have, let me put this up there. We have a county convention. Okay, bigger picture. The primary elections for governor, for state reps, for senators, that happens in August. All right, everybody goes and all the Republicans get voted on, so they advance one to the November ballot, and then they have the Democrats do the same thing, and then they advance. So one is elected by the people, and one is elected by the Republicans, by the Democrats. They face off in November. That is not true of attorney general candidates or secretary of state candidates. There's also U of M, or there's also the University Board of Regents also get picked there. So let's just stay with secretary of state and attorney general. The purpose of a convention is to select the primary winner of the this is a state convention of whatever the secretary of state candidates are, whatever the AG candidates are, and then the winner at the convention will advance on to November to take on the winner of the Democrat convention. I got to tell you, it's in my personal opinion, this is terrible. Our secretary of state and attorney general candidates should not be selected by just a few people. It should go on the ballot. So anyway, I'm hearing that there's going to be a ballot proposal to pull them off of the convention type primary and put them on the ballot, in the regular primary, so everybody votes. Don't know if that's going to happen. I'd like to see that happen, and if that happens, I'm going to be passing out the petitions, that's for sure. And I'm absolutely willing to work on whatever ballot proposal. So, but moving on from there, in order to get to the state convention, they don't have every single delegate there. They're only allowed X amount. Each county gets based on how many Republicans voted in the presidential election, some sorcery formula there, each county gets a certain number. And so each county has that certain number times about 10 or times 6 or whatever, but they have a lot. So we have hundreds of delegates, but only, I believe, 66, I think, is the magic number on the formula that gets to go to state convention to vote. So in order to pick the 66 from the few hundred or several hundred, we have to have the county convention, which is people will say, I wish to go to state to vote on the candidates, and they get put on a ballot. And then every delegate, whether you're on that ballot or not, gets to come and vote on the 60th. Now, so they will do that. And so that's what this county convention is. If you wish to be on the ballot, you need to send me an email at this email right here. Send me an email telling me two things. A, you want to be on the ballot to go to state election. Just being on the ballot isn't going to get you there. You got to get voted. You want to be on the ballot, and then you also need to tell me that if you get elected, you're willing to pay a $50 fee, not to me, not to us, not to the local, but the state party is charging everybody that goes $50 to go. Some people say that's a good idea. It weeds out people that don't really have any interest, and some people say it's terrible. But either way, it's not out of my control, and I'm certainly not getting any of it. So it's like the local party isn't doing this. This is a state party, so it is a state thing. So two things: I want to be on the ballot. I am a delegate. I want to be on the ballot, and I'm ready. I'm okay with paying the $50. You can do that. You can get on the ballot. You have until this Sunday, I want to say some 4:00-ish to get on the ballot. The county convention, no, not this Sunday. It's usually the Sunday before. But anyway, just do it now. Don't put it off, please. It's going to be the 26th. And, you can write me questions at this email right here, and I'll answer anything. I'm pretty approachable. I will answer anything you have. But it is, it's where you go if you want to be voted on. Now, if you don't want to go, that's okay too, but still come to our convention to vote, because we have voting software. You'll go to we'll have a code, and we'll have a site, and you'll go on the site and you'll vote for whatever the number is, 66 out of, say, the 150 people that want to be on there. You vote. So the top 66 vote getters get to go. So, and then the next 66 are considered alternates. And the alternates are numbered in highest to lowest vote getters, so the 66. So in other words, if somebody doesn't show up, bails out, can't go, the alternates go there, and then I'll say, well, I have somebody leaving, I elevate you. And what we'll do is we'll elevate you and we'll bring you forward. So you'll then go on and you'll get to vote. You'll get your credentials and you'll get to vote. So it's kind of a very technical thing. But if you have an interest in voting, I think you should consider going. So Mark Ashley Price says primary elections should be earlier in the year too. August is kind of late. 3 months is not a lot of time to campaign a statewide convention. That is a good point to make, Mark. As a matter of fact, that's why we're doing this one. We normally don't do this convention in state conventions March 28th, county conventions February 26th. They don't normally do one this time of year. Normally the convention is the convention and the primary, you say, is August. But as Mark just said, August doesn't, if you becoming the primary winner in August, doesn't give you a whole lot of time to gear up for the November ballot. So I know the Democrats do theirs in April. So it is, they get a lot of time to raise money and everything else. But imagine being a Secretary of State candidate that you find out April 10th or April 20th or whatever, August 20th, that you're the primary candidate. Well, early voting starts in September. You've got zero time to fundraise, and it's real hard to fundraise prior to the primary because they don't know who's going to be the winner. So, people give very sparsely, but so what they've done is they've backed it up. This state convention is not the absolute primary. It is what's called the endorsement, meaning the candidate that wins this gets the endorsement to go. And then somebody could still challenge them at the convention in August, but they'd have to beat them with a supermajority. That's going to be hard. Anyway, so I see Mark saying he was hopeful to be selected as a delegate or alternate. I'm hopeful you are too. So that's how it works. So back to this though. This is where you send, if you haven't yet, if you want to go to the convention, if you want to be on the ballot, make sure you send me an email at that address so I can get you on that list. If I don't get it, there's no last minute get-ons. Also, we cannot elevate anybody. So if you're not a delegate and you want to be a delegate, now here's the good news. If you're not a delegate but you want to be a delegate, we will have delegate applications there. We will have notaries there. We will have the applications, and it's basically just saying you want to be placed on the ballot. And for next year, that will start. Well, actually, no, it's this year. So August. When's the primary date? Tyler's going to look that up for me. So the primary, on whatever the primary date is, August whatever, the first Tuesday after the first Monday, will whoever the delegates go on the ballot. As soon as they win, they are now a delegate for that August convention.
It's August 4th, but I'm just going to double check that.
Okay, he's going to check. He thinks it's the 4th, but that could be. So it will be those delegates then are in place for 2 years. So they won't run again. So so there will be no elevating anybody at this one. Elevating means we have empty slots, but we have people that want to fill them that didn't get elected. We can appoint them at a convention, but at this point we can't. It's too late. So, all right, that's all about conventions. August 4th, he was correct. So good. Thank you, Tyler. We will have Floodgate Church always does a terrific job. We have a nice place to talk from, a nice stage if we want to use it. And candidates or their representatives are welcome to, talk as far as candidates for the Wayne State, the Michigan State, Michigan, or the Attorney General or the Secretary of State. So it is not uncommon to have the candidates stop by and want to speak. It is also not uncommon to have somebody speaking. And our favorite Jackson County Chair, Russ Jennings, has just checked in. Hi, Russ. Good to see you. We're just talking about the convention. I'm explaining what that is. So we've got that. So that is coming. So that's our next big thing. Well, so here we have some other things too. I don't have the flyer. I should have the flyer. I wish I did. What we're going to do is we have on February 11th, I have a new candidate training. So if you are going to run for something, and I've got, I think, eight people coming so far, and we Republicans are horrible at signing up early, so that's good that I've got 8 that have done that. But we've got probably about 8 people at this point. Even if you're not signed up to run, even if you're not ready to run, but you want to sort of learn about what you're going to need if you decide to run for something, this is a good one for you. It starts you at the beginning and everything you need to do and everything you need to know to win, not just to run a campaign, but to win a campaign. So it is very effective. 100% of the people that completely followed the plan won. So if you didn't, not many candidates lost, but sometimes candidates have, they were not in a position for whatever reason to follow that exact plan. So anyway, but they won, the ones won. So that's good. We have a great record, and I'm going to try and have some elected officials there to kind of talk through maybe examples of what I'm teaching. So it's good. We've got a good group coming. So if you're a Republican and you want to run, here, let me go back. I should just leave that stinking thing up there, shouldn't I? So right there, give me RSVP for February 11th. It's a Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. And it is here at the Victory Center from 5:30 to 8:30. And there's no cost to it. So just go if you want to come. So let's see, that's that. On the 18th, we have a meet and greet. We have back-to-back meet and greets, and I let the candidates pick the dates they're available. So Bill, here comes Vice Chair Bill Reiber. Take advantage, people, and he's talking about that class. Bill was absolutely at every one of my workshops that I had last year. Bill, were they worthwhile? Did they help you? He was, I believe, the top vote getter in his group. So I'm glad that he'll be there. I'm glad that he came. He's done a great job in his election. So on the 18th, as I started to say, we have a meet and greet here at the Victory Center, and it's going to be kind of snacks, and it will be gubernatorial candidate Mike Cox, Attorney General candidate Doug Lloyd, and Secretary of State candidate Anthony Ferlini. All 3 of them will be here on 18th from 6 to 8. It'll be open house. They might speak for a few minutes, but primarily they're going to be there to shake hands, meet people. There'll be sign-up sheets to endorse or to put signs up or to, the gubernatorial candidates are still getting signatures to get on the ballot. So, he might have them there. So, but it'll be, but it'll be a one-on-one. It'll be a mingle situation. It's not going to be a speech night. I've told them they want to talk for a couple minutes. That's fine. But primarily, I really do want them to just talk. So there'll be Doug Lloyd will be over here, Anthony Ferlini will be over here, Mike Cox will be over here, and everybody can mingle as they wish. They can go listen to him talk to other people. You can walk up and ask him a question. I truly want something more direct where you can ask and answer questions. I will be putting the hook around somebody that wants to dominate and take 10 questions. So just know that. So, share the time with other people, but I'm expecting a big crowd here. So, but we've got plenty of parking, and if there's overflow, there's the plaza right in front of us, the dental clinic. There's nobody there at that time of night, so that whole thing is wide open for parking. So it's just a tad bit farther to walk, but not too bad. It's not like you have to cross the street or anything. So we're looking forward to that next night. So clear both those nights, because the next night we have gubernatorial candidate Tom Leonard and Secretary of State candidate Amanda Love here. Same deal. Talk one-on-one, maybe a couple minutes of a speech, but mostly answering your questions, taking signatures, literature, whatever, but you'll get to sign petitions or, say I'll take a sign location or whatnot. So it will, I think they're both worthwhile, and we'll have snacks at both of them. We're not feeding people, but we will have snacks and probably bottles of water there. So please come. There's no cost to come to either one of those. We're really looking forward to your being here. Let's see what else. Then we have the 26th. So this is kind of a busy week. We have I also am really happy to announce that Joni, well, first of all, I want to tell you that once again, we do big applause to Michelle Blondil for her hard work in putting together a very, very successful Reagan Day last October. She hit it over the park. We had great time. We had great food, great everything. Well, that also sparked a whole bunch of interest, and from a lot of people that said, hey, I would like to do a theme too. So okay, the more the merrier. Let's keep it going. So Joni Econom came forward, and we had some ideas that we kind of had some issues come up. So all right, we shifted, but I think we got just as good, if not better of an idea, and that's going to be, we will be back at the same barn, Cross W, on May 5th. And for those of you who understand what May 5th is, that means it's going to be a Cinco de Mayo party. So we're going to be celebrating our southern neighbors' heritage with food and fun and activities, and of course we'll I'm welcoming speakers and sponsors. So we'll have more on that soon. But we'll be having a complete Mexican bar to everybody's delight. Michelle Blondil has agreed to once again do the charcuterie. If you remember the charcuterie she did before, it was beloved, if I could use that word, beloved. So she's going to do it again, only it's going to be Mexican themed. So she was already rattling off some ideas. We're going to have some activities. And because it went so successful, and because I kind of begged, Mary Beth Petrikis has agreed to do the another bucket drawing. We'll make a couple changes on that. First of all, the bucket drawing itself was terrific. We had great prizes. We had great interest in it. It was fun, but drawing each one individually ate up way too much time. So we will not be doing it that way again. We'll probably take the top three, the highest bidded top three, and then we'll draw those publicly, but the rest of them we'll post, and then people can just go check their ticket against the number, and then just go claim it from a separate table. So that way it's not taking, everyone's sitting there. I think that took 45 minutes. So, hey, you live and learn. So anyway, we won't be doing it that way, but we will be doing it again. And this time, Mary Beth has asked for a kind of a partner in crime on this. So Rochelle Huntsman, our LCRP secretary, will be helping. So if you have, or if you know of a business or a gift of some sort, if you have something, if you make things, I know I make a bunny seasoning bag, and every year I have more product. This year I'm going to have more. So we'll put together something. I know we've had wine baskets with other things to it, cookies and things, and we have other gift certificates for this or that, and we've done quite well. We've had some good ones. So Mary Beth or Rochelle will probably be making the rounds. So you can save them some time and help us along by if you have something you can donate, please do. I'm also well, nope, not going to talk about that because we have to vote on it. So I have to vote on something. I've asked for something in the budget. The budget committee has my finance committee has agreed it was a good idea. So I have to put that in front of the LCRP. That's a activity in February. I forgot to say February 5th, February 5th, this Thursday, 2 days from now. That is our monthly meeting at REMAX. So please come there. We will be voting on the budget, and we will be talking about a couple of bylaw amendments. That's probably the most business we've had to vote on in the last year. So anyway, but yeah, so we're going to be doing that. I'll talk next week about the other thing that we're going to have there at the thing. So that's our May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. We're going to have that. It's going to be fun. We're going to have our favorite bartenders back again. Everybody really liked Jacob and Matt. And so they're coming back with the other roommate, Sad, and they're coming back, all three of them. And that way we're going to have a good cleanup crew at the end and everything. So it's going to be such a fun night. So if you have any ideas for the Cinco de Mayo, we're looking for kind of activities. I think we're going to have some adult piñatas that we're going to, sell tickets to go up and whack at. And, we'll have prizes and things like that. So you have the best sombrero will win a prize, whatever. So go find your Mexican shirts and your sombreros and bring your, what are those things called? Those things, I can't remember what they're called. I can't think what they're called. They're little shaky things. So anyway, bring them and we'll have fun. So, all right, that is May 5th. So one of the things, probably the big news these days is what is going on with the Attorney General race. For those of you who, Tyler, if for those of you who have the Right Side News, I have a corresponding kind of blog that talks similar things, but it's more, it's more in depth and more written, and it's www.therightside.news.com. And I post if I learn something or if I see something going on and it needs to be discussed or it needs to be explained or whatever, I will post it there. I don't, and my rule here is we don't talk negatively about Republicans, which is, I hold by that. But I recently wrote an article that I kind of agonized about for a few weeks. It was bad, and I sought out counsel on whether or not I should bring it out because it was so sensitive. And it was one of the Attorney General candidates, Kevin Kiefsky, or Kevin Kajewski, he says in English, it just was recently discovered that, or at least recently printed, that he has a domestic violence police arrest. And that the way I read it and the way I double checked with prosecutors to make sure I read it right was there was an accusation, a report was filed, it went to the prosecutor. The prosecutor then deemed there was enough to prosecute. They went forward, and the victim, who was his wife at the time, the victim had said something about, it's in the police report, something about worried about losing the job, worried about losing the income, so drop charges. Okay, that's fine. I am not, I've been around that kind of thing long enough. My husband's a defense attorney. I've been around that kind of thing long enough to know that just because there's an accusation doesn't mean it's true. And so I would not ever take a stance on saying, yep, that's true, or no, that's not true. But having said that, the police report exists. It was deemed by the prosecution that it should go forward. The victim bailed out. That in and of itself is that the end of your life? No. No. Is it earth shattering? No. Can you live a happy life and a healthy life after that? Yes. Can you run and win for the top law official position in the state with that on your record? No. In the article, and the article is called electability, which electability versus likability, which wishes and which wins. And that is, we've talked about electability before, but it is a electability, and those of you who've taken the workshop or will take the workshop, you'll understand, or you have understand when I talk about Drick election pie. And there's a combination of things that make you electable. It can be your personality, it can be your charisma, it can be your experience, it can be your sign locations, but it's a combination of them, right? That's what makes you electable. Having one thing, like all the experience, or one thing, a lot of money, it's not enough if the other person has a bigger section of the pie, right? So that's what makes you electable. And that is what, when I do my workshops, I talk about all these things, and Bill can attest. What do I talk about in these things? How do you become electable? How do you develop these things? And we break them all down and we talk about them. So those of you who come to the February 11th class, you'll hear this. But there is also something that is not talked about often enough because it's not always pertinent, and that's called reverse electability. And what reverse electability is when a incident happens or has happened, and it absolutely destroys or dooms any chance of winning an election because it's there. Now, those things tend to be relative, all right? For example, if you have a history 10, 15 years ago, you bounced a check and they had to come and sue you for it or whatever, okay? So it is, let's say you bounced a check. Could you win a school board position, or could you win a county commissioner position with that? Yes. People tend to think, yep, you make mistakes. But if you were to run for a treasurer position with that on your record, no. I think that would be used against you in a big way that, well, you can't even operate your own finances. Why on earth? That's what would happen. So it would be foolish. If you got a drunk driving ticket, all right, could you still get a good job? Could you still, or whatever, an arrest, could you still get a good job? Or would you lose your position as a township trustee because you got a drunk driving? Probably not. Would you lose your position as sheriff if you did? Yeah. Or we've had that happen, not sheriff, but a high-ranking law enforcement official in Livingston County had one happen, and yeah, he left. He had to leave because it's relative to what you're doing. So is having a police record claiming a domestic violence incident, would that doom him if he ran for judge, or if he ran for county commissioner, or if he ran for state rep? Yeah, probably not, maybe, but probably not. But running for the top law enforcement position in the state with that on there, with a police report, no. And here's what's going to happen. You have to remember that the only Democrat candidates for AG are prosecutors. Okay, let that sink in for a minute. They're prosecuting attorneys. They have access to every single bit of this record. There's nothing about this record they can't get. So I know this. If he were to emerge as our candidate from the convention, if he were to emerge, the most likely, either any of the Dems, but the most likely winner is going to be Karen McDonald. And here's what she's going to do. She's going to have a picture of Kevin, most likely in something like AI in a white beater shirt, and with a police record. It'll say arrested. It'll say charged with domestic violence. We'll get hundreds of these postcards, the big postcards with this picture, with a mug shot, with everything. It'll all be there. And the police report will be all over the place. It'll be in every single mailbox, everywhere. It'll be on billboards. It'll be on the newspaper, on the radio. Nobody will stop talking about this until November. That's if he's our candidate, because they know it's going to doom the ticket. And that right now, and this is something I cannot stress enough. We've talked many times on this show with different people, and one thing we all agree on is that the Democrats' rhetoric is horrible. They've dug in. They're still stuck on, illegal aliens. I mean, look at Minnesota. That's exactly the kind of stuff they're still talking about. They're talking about defending the rights of the boys and the girls' bathrooms, everything that we stand against, right? So, but their message didn't resonate. That's why we won so big 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. That's why we won. So, all we need to do, we are poised to win again. Michigan is poised to become Republican. All right. They've done the work for us. We have a good message. They do not. We deal with parents and realistic world of parents where we're keeping their kids safe. We're preaching safe borders. We're preaching safe bathrooms. We're preaching safe sports. We're preaching safe locker rooms, right? And we are poised. So in football terms, all we need to do is hang on to the ball and cross the 51-yard line and we win. That's it. And frankly, I don't even know if we have to cross. We just have to hang on to the ball. But if we lose the ball because we're stupid or we get penalties or face masks or targeting or something, we could lose this because of something we do. We're not going to lose because of something they do. Their message is a mess. They're not organized. Everything's a mess. If we lose, it's going to be because of what we did. And I'm going to argue very clearly that putting up an attorney general candidate with a police record, we're going to lose badly, because what'll happen is we will lose the female vote. They're going to make it. Let's look who the Republicans put up. They support domestic violence. They're going to do that, and they're going to have his picture. I would not be surprised if they somehow got a hold of the woman who made the charges and had her crying her eyes out and I've been so, they're going to give her a script that's going to make it look terrible. And so that big chunk, remember, let's go to here for a second. Remember this right here. Right there. That is Michigan's voters. All right. So we got the right, we got the left. The right is going to still support whoever we get. But you can look at the numbers there. The independents are not going to support. They're not going to support somebody like that. So what they'll do, and many of these independents, as we stand now, are ready to vote Republican. They are tired of that nonsense. They're ready to vote Republican. Okay? They're called swing voters for a reason. They could go either way. And all we got to do is hang on to the ball. But we do it this way. We have the wrong candidate up there. We have a candidate with a police record for the top law enforcement position in the state. They are going to exploit that every single race. Look who the Democrats are. Look who the Republicans are doing. The Republicans support domestic violence. And then we're going to lose the female vote. We're going to lose the independent vote. We're going to lose the swing vote. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to vote straight ticket Democrat, where they would have voted with us. Because they're not going to say, okay, well, just him. We're going to vote Republican, everybody else, but we're going to go and vote Democrat for him. They're going straight ticket. That means, ready? We lose Secretary of State. We lose Attorney General. We lose Governor. We lose the House. We lose the Senate. We lose the close congressional ones. And the closest congressional seat in the country is 7th District, Tom Barrett. We lose Tom Barrett. We lose Mike Rogers as a U.S. Senator. We lose our first opportunity for a Republican U.S. Senator. Or whoever it is. I know there's 2 other candidates. So, okay, fine. Which I'm not going to argue about that. Whichever of the 3 candidates emerge, we're going to lose them, because that's it. So I urge everybody to understand that and I feel bad because I really, Kevin is likable. He's very likable. He's upbeat. He's friendly. He's got a big smile. I've had him on the podcast. We've had him here for the meet and greet. I've enjoyed interviewing. I enjoy talking to him and seeing him when I see him. But this is a game changer. That's just the only word, game changer. This is now such a big obstacle that we cannot risk our state. I work too hard to get Republicans in seats to lose it because we dropped the ball. That's it. All right, Mark Ashley Price, you are right. Okay, well, I appreciate you saying that. Like I said, this is not a personal vendetta, and frankly, my suggestion, because again, things like this are relative. It doesn't need to doom a political career. It just is not going to be it cannot be this one. He will lose. There is no way he's going to win with that. There's no way to spin that. No spin possibly. I've been spinning things for years. Can't spin that one. Before I ever said a word, I tried to think, okay, if I were in charge, or if somebody came to me and said, Deb, make this work. Couldn't do it. I worked on this for like 3 weeks, trying to figure out a way out of it. Yeah. So in any case, as sickening as it is, I mean, not sickening that he did, but sickening that the situation isn't, I mean, I've got a rock in my stomach now thinking about it, and I'm sure anybody that cares about it does too. So anyway, I would suggest the best move for Mr. For Kevin Kiefsky is to, we don't have anybody running for the state board for the Supreme Court. I don't think that is as prevalent. And number one, that's a nonpartisan position. So you don't have Democrats going against Republicans. You're not risking the ticket that way. It's just, I imagine somebody will bring it up, but it'll be downplayed because it will not have every single Democrat on the ticket playing it. It'll just be the Democrats and the Republicans will be focused on what we focus on. The state Supreme Courts will have to have their own way. But I think he could win because I think we don't have any other candidates. So I personally would jump on his bandwagon and run his campaign if I had to, if he wanted to run for state Supreme Court. So of course that choice is up to him, but I know what happened. I know what my phone's doing, and they are blowing up. Yes, Mark, that is the truth. As far as I know, I've heard we got some people thinking about it, but nobody stepped up. So in my opinion, I feel like Mr. Kiefsky would make himself a local hero if he said for the good of the party, he's going to pull himself out and then step into the judge race. Two problems solved right at the same time, and I know this, the rest of us would step up and help him win that. There's nobody that wouldn't. So I think it's a win-win, and I don't know what he's going to do, but I hope he doesn't pursue this because, it's just going to be that bad. So, all right, well, that's my talk on electability. We just have, but let's talk about electability on a bigger scale. Okay, again, back to this little diagram here. So when you're talking about the left and the right, and this is your basic makeup. People think, hang on, right here. People think that's what it looks like in Michigan because we're a purple state, right? It is not. That's what it is. And those independents, some of them are kind of left, they're kind of like center-ish Republicans, and the ones on the left of the center line there are sort of centrist. There's some centrist Democrats in there too that are, swing back and forth. But they're that big purple area there, those people will go back and forth. They're not necessarily locked into Democrats or Republicans. And so if we continue, if you look back at the candidates that have tried to run for statewide office and lost, you would not put them in the purple section. You wouldn't even put them to the left of the red section. You'd put them almost all the way over, right around the H. And a statewide candidate is something just ran off the table. We have a ghost in here with Tyler and I. Yike. So there's right about that H is where some of these candidates go. And that's fine. They're going to win a primary because they're the most Republican. But you put them up against somebody more moderate, they're going to lose every time. This is a purple state. Direct election math. You cannot put numbers where they don't belong. You cannot just wish more red in that scenario. It doesn't. It's not there. So you got those middle people. You need to convince the middle people to win a statewide race. Now, having said that, I just want to be really clear. That's statewide. Local's different. Livingston County is very, very red. I think I have a slide. That's a swing district voter demographic. Places like Jackson or there are places that really balance. They have a very tight one. This is Livingston County. We have a great big chunk of Republicans, and we have a growing chunk of blue, but mostly this. So you can be as far right in the red and still win in Livingston County, because that's how we balance it here. But when you're talking about statewide, there's just not enough in that red section to the right to add up to a win. Not if a bunch of the center is voting with the left. So anyway, so you've really got to have somebody a little more moderate. I know that people that, we have the dominionists, as we call them, or the purists that say if you're not far right, you're not worth the time, or you're not worthy of, or you're no different than a Democrat. Wrong. Because a Democrat will not get it, because there's that. I use this word about every three things. Majority, and until everybody understands what majority means, there's going to be a problem. If you don't, whichever side in the legislature, whether it's U.S. legislature or state, has the most members, they get majority. And whoever gets majority controls everything. The majority, the first vote the majority makes is to elect a leader. In the Senate, it's called the Senate Majority Leader. In the House, it's called the Speaker of the House. And they have all the power, all of it. So it doesn't matter if the candidate you think is moderate and you're afraid he's going to put something up, say a pro-choice bill. Understand that the Speaker or the Senate Majority Leader will never put it up for a vote. It'll die. They have all power of what gets voted on, what comes to the light, what dies. So there is no way. I think I was telling somebody not too long ago, I have a good friend here who told me that he did not like a particular Republican gubernatorial candidate, and he voted for the Democrat. He said because he thought that one was lazy. And I said, well, here's why that didn't work for you. Because let's just say you're right, and that Republican governor was lazy. Let's say he was terribly lazy. You know what he would have done? He would have been signing the Republican bills that came in front of him. Even if he was lazy, he would be signing them. Whereas the Democrat, Whitmer, refuses to sign them. So they die. So whether or not you get a lazy guy or not, it's the reason I'm trying to show you the absolute, positive, without doubt reasons you need to vote for the Republican, even if you don't like them. There's what we have, and then there is what, like I said, this is an electable Republican, whether you like him or not. If he or she's electable, you get behind him, even if you don't particularly care for him. Like I said, the only oddity is if you have one of those reverse electability situations, like I believe we have with our AG candidate Kiefsky. So, I'm not happy about that, because I think that gave us two good candidates, and you always have a good spirited thing when you have two. But anyway, I am seriously praying that Mr. Kiefsky decides, you know what, let's just run for state Supreme Court. Get your name on that ballot. Well, I'll help you. And I don't think it's going to be the big issue it is here, because it's not going to be Republican, Democrat. It's just going to be nonpartisan. So I think people will appreciate you've done that. So, all right. Well, that is that. So, what else is going on? Anybody have any questions or thoughts? What's going on? You think about what you might want to talk about. I'm going to do just a couple of quick commercials, and we'll be right back. Let's see. Here we go.
Someone once said, "Where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart." What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Ready to make your real estate dreams a reality? Meet Lisa R., your trusted expert in Livingston County. With 25 years in the real estate marketplace, she offers a seamless, stress-free experience. As a Real Estate One agent, Lisa has access to a network of over 2,000 agents and a one-stop shop for mortgage, title, and insurance services. Call Lisa R. at 734-260-7277 or visit her at Real Estate One in Brighton. Let her help you find your dream home or sell your property with confidence.
Okay, that was quick. Tyler reminded me of something today. We were talking, and first thing is somewhere on here is a subscribe button. Would love for you guys just to click subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us with subscriptions. It helps us get ads and things. So speaking of ads, anybody looking to put an ad on here, we have a very low cost. We charge $25 an episode, so we're easy to. You just send me the video and we'll play it. So for $100 for a month is and we'll play it once or twice, at least once, more likely twice per episode. So $100 you get a whole month for a month's worth of stuff. So let's see. Please ask people to run for the state Supreme Court. Nobody currently run. Yeah, that blows my mind too. We have been people have been asking. I know the party is working with some people, but like I said, I think having Kevin Kiefsky, he's been out there, then his name is recognized, and I think that that might be a, like I said, that might be a win-win. That he might be able to. That would be a good place to kind of come back from, right? So, what was I talking about? So. All right, well, we talked about electability. What else is going on? Anybody have anything going on? We have, oh, yes, please subscribe. The other thing is, wait a minute, I got to put my little banner here that Rob made me. All right, become a member. We're going to be having a big membership drive here real soon, and which means I'm going to create another goofy commercial, which will be fun. But yeah, we really need your membership. Our membership is up. I am so happy to say. I have to tell you, our fourth Thursday dinners they're an indication of what's going on inside the party. They're good, just a good indication, because at the last several we have had new members every time, or new people that become members later. I look at the membership every month and when exactly people joined. I did an ice cream social that we talked about for Brian Ignatowski here at the Victory Center, and met a couple of people that I asked to join, and I went back and checked. Sure enough, they did it that night. So that is wonderful that we're doing that. So when you're at places and you're talking and someone says, "Oh," and here's the line that I find, that's the invitation line. "Oh, I've been meaning to get involved. I'd love to get involved. I just need to find the time, blah, blah, blah." Okay, they mean that. And I know they mean that. And I'm excited by that. But I also know that oftentimes if I just say, "Well, hey, you're welcome, please come," and then walk away, there is a very low chance that they will be, not because they were insincere. They were very sincere, but because things get in the way. As we all know, life happens while we're planning something else. So life gets in the way, and it's a very reduced number that actually go. There needs to be follow-up, or there needs to be a commitment made. Usually if there's a commitment made, it gets followed. So when people say things like that to you, like what I say is, oh, great. Well, you know what you can do is you pick up your phone and the very minimum is join the party, be a member. I said, you know, the money that you can choose different amounts, and the money that you pay helps us help candidates. That money goes to candidates. That's why we exist. We exist to get Republicans elected. So that's what's going to happen. So, you know, the very minimum, just, hey, please, you know, livingstonrepublicans.com, you can get on there right there, hit join, and Bob's your uncle. There you are. We have you. So, you know, at the very least you do that. But then I'd also invite you to, you know, I ask them to come to something specific, and I rarely ask them to come to a meeting first. I tell them they're welcome, but what I try to say is, hey, we have a breakfast next Tuesday. Hey, we have a dinner the fourth Thursday of this month. We're going to be here. Would you like to join us? I will save you a seat. You can sit by me. I will introduce you to people. That is attractive. And that's why we're getting people at these dinners. And it's not a trick by any means. This is a great way, if you're new to the party, to come and meet us. Get to know us. It's very low. It's very informal. You talk to the people next to you. You talk to the people across the table from you. It's like-minded people. Nobody's going to, you don't have to worry about what you say, because, you know, the people next to you might be screaming at your MAGA hat or whatever. That's not happening. You're amongst friends. So this is a good place for you to be. So I will tell you that next Tuesday is our monthly membership breakfast, and like I said, anybody can come, and we encourage you. It is, I'm going to ask Tyler to look on I think there was just a email that came out with that. There is an email that we just got, and it's is it Leo's that we're going to? I don't know. I think it's Leo's in Heartland. Pretty sure it's Leo's in Heartland that we're going to this time, and it's I want to say 9:00 on this next Tuesday at Leo's in Heartland. You just show up. I mean, you can, if you email me, I'll save you a chair. That's fine. Let me go back to that.
Got the email, but apparently it's broken.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's hang on, right there. So email me here, and I will confirm it with you, or I will save you a seat. But if not, just come. And we have other new members every month. We've been having new people at our dinners. Now we don't have a dinner this month because we are having on the fourth Thursday. We are having our county convention. We were told we have to do it on that date, so that was not. It was up to me. I would have done a different date. Still had our dinner. Just a couple of kudos here while we're talking about that. The monthly membership meetings by Sharon and Mike Staton are, you know, they're doing. Our membership chairs are doing a fabulous job, Mike and Sharon Staton, and they are they without fail. Sharon, I gotta hand it to her. I'm gonna give her some major kudos here. It is not easy just taking on something new. And I'm not talking about the committee. She's very good at that, and that almost seems to be the easy part for her. They are both very friendly, and I frankly cannot think of two more friendly faces I want people to meet when they first join. So it's wonderful that they do that. But Sharon had zero flyer making abilities, none. I started her off on Word. I remember I've been to her house a couple times, kind of walking her through just Word, and then she jumped into Canva feet first. And so she's making these flyers, and you know, I mean, I go through them, and I might say, okay, over here, look at here, and we share the thing, and I say, you see, if you do it this way, you got, oh, okay, and she learns, and good for her. Good for her. I know that's not easy. I'm currently trying to learn TikTok videos, and I'm pulling my hair out, but good for her and she's doing such a good job. So, she and Mike is terrific at helping set up I can always count on him without even asking. He'll call me and say, hey, I'm going to go over to the Victory Center the day before this event and set it up for you. Thank you. I just those thoughtful things. Mike and Sharon are terrific. But Sharon and Mike run these breakfasts, and they set it out, and they send out they send out the calendar events and everything. So if you're not getting a calendar event, it's because you're not a member. So get on a member, you'll automatically start getting these calendars. I also want to do some shout outs here. Our convention is completely under the let's see, okay, of Bill Reiber, our vice chair. He was on here a little while ago, so I want to give major kudos to him. Being the chair, especially getting so many things done at once, I can't do all this. I can't do it all. There's just no way. And so I think that's why some parties have issues. They can't grow, they can't get this done or that done, because it's all on them. And either they don't have volunteers, or they don't, they'd rather have their own fingers on it. Okay, that's up to them. I don't, that's their rule. I can't do that. There's so much that needs to be done. I don't have time to keep my fingers in everything. So, what I depend on is passionate people that have good follow through, that do the work and do it well. We set up the guidelines when we first meet. All right, this is what the budget is, if there's a budget, or this is what the expectation is. All right, we understand. I might join the first meeting or something, and then I'm out of it. Bill Reiber is taking on this convention, and he's got a mind. He's got an incredible mind for detail, and that's what it needs. It needs a lot of detail. So he is handling the convention. I could not appreciate him more. Rochelle Huntsman is our secretary. She is, the secretary has a very big role in a convention. They have to record everything. They have to read things off. Rochelle is still very new and doesn't understand things. So I think putting that pressure on her would be unfair. So big applause to Paul Funk, who agreed to walk her through everything. He's going to be sitting with her. He's going to be telling her what to do, or he's going to be doing it and showing her. So that's an extra set of things for him to do. But again, that's what makes this party run, is great volunteers. So thanks, Paul, for that. While I'm thanking Paul, I also have to give him kudos for doing the back office stuff. He does our emails. He's the one who handles our website. When we have something that gets sent out, he does it. And I'll tell you, it is really nice that I can send him something and I can say, can you get this out first opportunity? And he will write me back right away and say, I'm here now, I'm doing this now, but tomorrow at 2:00, I have some time, I'll get it done then. I always know right away when it's going to be done. And then I can walk away and it will be done. And I know that. And anybody that's ever depended on people that they've delegated to, that when you don't have to call them, you don't have to check on them, you don't have to bug them, you don't have to wonder, okay, is this thing going on or what, or start calling, or you be told, well, I'm busy this week, I can't get to it till the weekend. That when it's going to get done, you can walk away. That's gold. That really is, because you can't function unless you have people that are like that. So I know the Statons are like that. I know Paul is like that. I know Bill Reiber's like that. And Rochelle is really stepping up too. As I said, Rochelle stepped up and said, hey, yeah, I'll help Mary Beth with the bucket drawing. So they're going to be meeting this week and set up their stuff. I'm meeting with Joni tomorrow, and she's my next applause. Joni and Tom won a new award that I set up for them last year, and it was the Sunshine Award or something like that. It was basically the people that showed up with a smile on their face and was always ready to help out. That is a just spreading goodwill around. That was there, and that's Joni and Tom. But Joni's taking this on. We're going to meet in the morning, and we're going to put out all the put the list of things down. And so again, Mary Beth Petrikis and Rochelle, thank you for agreeing to do that bucket drawing. I'd heard Mary Beth was not really wanting to do it again this year, and because she'd done it, the last couple, and I basically called her and told her if she didn't, I was going to have a funeral for the event because we were so miserable. So she agreed, and we appreciate her. So, Mary Beth and Rochelle, Paul, yeah. So, and another group I want to commend, two more groups. One, Norris Hardiman and his delegate team. Wow. They are planning, they're organized, they're ready to go. Norris will have Ron Gillard and Bill Reiber, and Lance will be at the convention, and they will be signing people up. We have a bunch of people. As always, one of my favorite volunteers is Elizabeth Bonner. She'll go where she's asked to go. Where we need somebody, she goes. And, she's so experienced at stuff that You just can't, you can't help but just appreciate that. Again, it's that, okay, she knows what to do. I'm out of here. I can go handle this problem over here. Sometimes there's things that nobody knows what to do but me. Okay, I got to go focus on that. But if I got someone like Elizabeth, go ahead, do that. I'll never get in your way. So that's good. So we have a bunch of volunteers that have signed up. Colleen and Tim Quinn will be there. Thank God. They're terrific at that stuff. Kind of a recent addition to our volunteer team is Veronica Nugent. She's another one that's just bubbly and friendly and terrific. Candy Hovarder is going to be there, I think. And, but she's another one that just shows up and is willing, and, you just love stuff like that. And the last people I want to really commend and give hats off to is Jim Detling and the finance team of, the chair, Tom Econom, and Joe Leginus, and Don Adkins, and Ron Gillard, and I'm forgetting somebody, Doug Moore, and I'm going around the table here. It was Joe, Jim, Tom, Ron. Okay, that's it. So our finance team, and Norris just agreed to join on it. The finance team is a vital team because they oversee all the numbers. We set the budget together. They tell me whether, this is unrealistic or we shouldn't or we should. They have to approve anything. They have to approve that budget. I don't get to approve it. I can put requests on it, but they approve it. And then I can stick with it. So if they've given me a line item of X amount for flyers, let's say I get this much for flyers for the year, I can just go buy the flyers. I don't have to say anything to them. I just turn the receipts in and we're good. But the minute I want to spend an extra $1, I got to go back to them and say, all right, I need an extra $1 because, and then they have to vote on it. So they're good about it. It's not something that takes hours and hours every month, thank goodness. But it doesn't take hours and hours every month because they're on top of it. They know the budget. They read the budget. So when I come to them, I know I'm going to have to make my case. And I don't come for money often, but when I do, I have to make my case. So they ask the questions. They're just not giving me a free pass. What's your return on it? Why is it necessary? Is it something that we'll be able to use again? They ask all the right questions. So I really, really appreciate them. So we're going to be passing our budget hopefully on Thursday, and we can go there. All right. Anything more going on? Anybody? I'm trying to think. Tyler, anything more going on? We may, this is a preliminary thing. We may have a change of venue for our meetings. We had, Janine Deaton was our liaison to the Remax, and Janine, just with her mom, stuff happened and she got busy. She couldn't do that anymore. So I went to a couple other ones, and they said they would for a while, but they're kind of at the point where they can't anymore. So we may end up being here at the Victory Center for our meetings, unless we can find. So if you have a real estate agent for Remax that's willing to kind of stay, because you have to have an agent there. So if they're willing to stay for the 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever as we have our meeting, then please ask them and please reach out to me because we need to do that. So, all right, well, that is all I can think of right now. Anybody that has any questions? Oh, I had a very fascinating breakfast yesterday with Pastor Toma. We've all seen Pastor Toma or heard Pastor Toma. We've heard him speak. We've watched him. He comes to our Lincoln Days and the Right to Life Days. He is a outspoken Christian conservative, and he is the pastor at a Lutheran church in Heartland. And I have seen him speak 100 times. I knew who he was. I knew what he stood for. But so I reached out to him, and basically I wanted his thoughts and opinions, and what a fascinating conversation we had. He's very interesting, and he's very passionate about his beliefs, which is refreshing because for somebody that speaks like he does, it's not rhetoric. It's not it's not lip service. That's the words I'm looking for. It's not lip service. So he's agreed to be on the podcast here in the future. So, watch for that. Matter of fact, I've asked him to write up some of his thoughts because I let him go. He was interesting to hear. So I suggested that he consider writing, when he gets an opinion about something, he wants it out there to the Republicans. I would publish it for him on the Right Side News. So we did see, I want to also make sure the Right Side News is full of opinions and things about kind of summaries of some of the stuff we talk about. So you get some time, peruse through those. Some of the articles are news and some of the articles are just opinion, but kind of like it's a written version of some of the stuff we talk about. So, you should look it up. It's an interesting thing, but I've asked him to, put a couple of columns out there for us. So that's going to be interesting. So we have that. I'm looking forward to him. He came up with a date. We're already booked, so I can't do that. But so I'm waiting for him to shoot me another one. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. I found my visit with him very, very interesting, and I was really happy to have met him. That is all I can think of. So we have a short meeting tonight, but that's okay because I think we covered some pretty vital stuff. Again, please consider looking down here at this little ticker tape here and livingstonrepublicans.com/join, and we'll take you right there. But yeah, we could, we really need your help. We'd love to come to a meeting. You want to come to our meeting at REMAX at 7:00 on Thursday? You are welcome to come. If you want to kind of meet some people first, that's fine too. Come to our breakfast Tuesday at Leo's in Heartland. So it is a good breakfast there, and like I said, we've got some new members at every one of these breakfasts and dinners. So I'm real excited about. I'm excited about this one. So, once again, remember to email me at chair@livingstonrepublicans.com. If you're a delegate and you want to go to state convention, if you just want to come and vote, that's fine. That's fine. Just come. But other than that, so we'll let you go here. We're going to call it an early night, and it was good seeing you, good talking to you. If anybody comes up with anything interesting, or you want to hear about something on a future podcast, or a suggestion for an interview or somebody to get on here, please email me, chair@livingstonrepublicans.com, and I'd love to have your ideas. So, okay, good night and have a great week. We'll see our EC meeting. See you at the EC meeting on Thursday.